Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that peace never seems to be restored, and this time, chaos returns when Jordan and Ian Ward, two notorious villains, return with a dark plot to ruin Sharon's life. With a scheming plan, these two not only turn Sharon's life upside down but also drag her loved ones into a life-or-death battle. Jordan and Ian Ward are no strangers to Genoa City. With a past full of crimes and sophisticated plans, the appearance of these two means a new nightmare. This time, their target is none other than Sharon, a woman who has faced many storms but always tries to rise up. Initially, Jordan and Ian tried to frame Sharon for killing Heather, a character caught up in the mysterious vortex of revenge. However, this plan failed when the evidence they created could not convince the police. Unwilling to give up, the two quickly turned to Plan B, eliminating Sharon for good. Jordan and Ian's revenge is not limited to threats. Sharon soon finds herself prey in a deadly game when she is lured into a vicious trap. Trapped in a cold and dark sewer system, she must face her greatest fears, loneliness, and the risk of death. Sharon's escape attempts initially seem promising as she manages to unlock the sewer door and climb to the surface. However, fate is not on her side. Thirst and exhaustion take a toll on Sharon, and in a moment of desperation, she drinks water laced with PCP, a dangerous hallucinogen that Jordan and Ian had prepared. The poison quickly takes over Sharon's body, causing her to collapse, losing consciousness just steps away from survival. Loved ones in a race against time. While Sharon struggles with danger in the dark, her loved ones are unaware that her life is in grave danger. Chance, a talented investigator who is overwhelmed by the lack of clues, and Nick Newman, Sharon's loving and caring friend, begin a tense investigation to find her. However, the task is not easy. Jordan and Ian have carefully erased all traces so that no one can figure out where they are keeping Sharon. The clues Chance and Nick collect are vague, leading them to dead ends again and again. As time passes, the hope of saving Sharon before it is too late becomes slimmer. The race against time becomes more intense than ever. Chance and Nick always seem to be one step behind the two villains, while Sharon continues to fight the poison that is ravaging her body. The feeling of helplessness is overwhelming, but the love and determination of their loved ones does not allow them to give up. In a moment of hope, Nick discovers a vital clue from an unexpected witness, someone who saw Jordan and Ian acting suspiciously near the sewer area. Chance immediately deploys forces there, but will they be able to save Sharon before she loses consciousness? In the bitter cold and the enveloping darkness, Sharon is slowly slipping into unconsciousness. She hears noises in the distance, but cannot determine whether they are the voices of her savior or her enemy. Outside, Chance and Nick are trying to break through the manhole, overcoming the obstacles Jordan and Ian have installed to hinder them. Just when all hope seems lost, the manhole is finally opened. Nick rushes in and finds Sharon lying motionless. With the help of the medical team, Sharon is brought out and quickly treated. However, her life hangs on a thin line between life and death. Jordan and Ian are finally captured after a dramatic confrontation with Chance. Despite her suffering, Sharon once again proves her strength and resilience when she awakens in the arms of her loved ones. This attack is not only a test of Sharon's will, but also a testament to the power of love and determination. Genoa City is once again at peace, but darkness always lurks, reminding everyone that danger can return at any moment. The peace of Genoa City is shattered once again when Jordan and Ian Ward, two men who have committed terrible crimes, suddenly return. This time, their target is Sharon Newman, a woman who has always faced a turbulent life but never surrendered. However, the challenges that Sharon faces this time are not just a mental battle, but also a life-or-death battle. Jordan and Ian Ward's return is not simply to sow chaos. These two have a detailed plan to destroy Sharon at all costs. At first, they try to frame her for killing Heather, a mysterious woman related to Sharon's troubled past. However, this plan quickly fails when the fake evidence they created cannot be fooled by the police. Not willing to give up, Jordan and Ian turn to a new, more sinister plan to eliminate Sharon completely. They decided to leave no chance for her to survive, leading her into a deadly trap with almost no chance of escape. The two villains' dark plan was executed perfectly. Sharon was tricked into falling into an abandoned sewer, a cold and dark place with no chance of calling for help. Initially, Sharon remained steadfast, trying to find a way to break the lock to escape. She used everything she could find around her, from rusted metal bars to broken concrete blocks. But in that dire situation, Jordan and Ian prepared another layer of danger. Knowing that Sharon would need to drink water to sustain her life, they deliberately left a water source laced with PCP, a powerful hallucinogen. In desperation and exhaustion, Sharon could not resist the temptation of the water, not knowing that she was drinking poison. As soon as she drank the water, Sharon began to feel her body losing control. Her breathing became labored, her vision blurred, and terrifying hallucinations began to overwhelm her. She collapsed, completely helpless in the darkness. While Sharon faced danger, her loved ones outside were also searching. Chance Chancellor, a dedicated investigator, and Nick Newman, who loved Sharon, teamed up to find where she was being held. But Jordan and Ian had wiped away all traces, making it extremely difficult to find any clues. Both Chance and Nick knew that time was not on their side. Sharon's body would not last long in the harsh environment, especially since she had ingested poison. They searched every possible area, spoke to every potential witness, but every attempt led to disappointing dead ends. A glimmer of hope was sparked when a passerby reported seeing Jordan and Ian acting suspiciously near an old sewer system. Based on this information, Chance and Nick immediately launched a search operation in that area. But will they make it in time? In the cold darkness, Sharon is on the thin line between life and death. Her body is weakening, but her will to survive has not been completely extinguished. The sounds in the distance, the sound of metal banging, footsteps, make her vaguely think that she is being saved, but is it true or just an illusion? Outside, Nick and Chance race against time. As they approach the sewer system, a series of obstacles set up by Jordan and Ian to slow them down appear. But their determination does not allow them to give up. With the help of the rescue team, they finally break the sewer door and rush inside. Nick is the first to find Sharon. She lies motionless, her body cold and barely breathing. Nick immediately picked Sharon up, tears streaming down his cheeks as he saw the woman he loved in such a pitiful state. A medical team waiting outside quickly took over Sharon, trying to revive her. While Sharon was being treated, Chance and the police pursued Jordan and Ian. A tense confrontation took place in an abandoned warehouse where the two were hiding. With skill and determination, Chance captured both of them, bringing them to justice. When everything came to an end, Sharon woke up in the hospital, surrounded by those who loved her. Nick never left her side for a second, always by her side to make sure she would get through it all. Although this attack left her mentally and physically scarred, Sharon knew she was not alone. The return of Jordan and Ian is a reminder that darkness can appear at any time, but with the love and solidarity of her loved ones, she believes she can overcome any challenge. Genoa City has temporarily calmed down, but the lessons from this event will forever be a part of Sharon's life and the lives of those around her. Based on the details you provided, I will develop the article in more detail, expanding the sections on character psychology, setting intention to enrich the story. Here is the extended version. What was once a symbol of peace fell into turmoil when two familiar names, Jordan and Ian Ward, reappeared. These bad guys not only brought threats, but also plotted to destroy the life of Sharon Newman, a woman who had faced many events but still stood strong. This time, Jordan and Ian decided to corner Sharon, forcing her to fight for survival in an unexpected situation. Jordan and Ian Ward are two people known for their scheming, ruthlessness, and deep hatred for Sharon. Their return is not accidental. This is part of a detailed revenge plan to destroy Sharon both mentally and physically. They started with a familiar tactic, framing Sharon for the murder of Heather, a key figure in their plot. Heather was a mysterious relative of Ian Ward, and her death was the result of his own schemes. However, Ian and Jordan tried to frame Sharon, creating a false story to ruin her reputation and life. They planted false evidence, spread rumors everywhere, but the police quickly realized the absurdity of the story. The plot failed, but this only made them more determined. Unable to humiliate Sharon with words, Jordan and Ian turned to a more terrible plan: to eliminate her forever. This time, the plan was not simply to kill Sharon, but also to play a psychological game, pushing her into despair before ending everything. Jordan and Ian lured Sharon to an abandoned sewer system outside the city. It was a cold, damp, and desolate place with seemingly endless tunnels. Sharon was attacked by surprise, and before she could fight back, she was locked in a cramped sewer chamber with no way out. At first, Sharon remained steadfast, trying to find a way to escape. She used everything she had, from a small hairpin to the rusted metal pieces around her, to break the lock. Every moment was a struggle with fear and helplessness. She knew that she had no one to rely on but herself. However, as thirst and exhaustion began to take over, Sharon could not resist any longer. Jordan and Ian had anticipated this situation. They left behind a bottle of water that seemed to be a savior, but was actually laced with PCP, a powerful hallucinogen. Sharon, in desperation, drank the water without realizing it. Within minutes, the PCP began to take effect. Sharon's body gradually lost control, her mind was covered with terrifying hallucinations. She heard voices in her head, saw strange images that made her panic. Finally, Sharon collapsed in the darkness, helpless and alone. Loved ones in a race against time. While Sharon faced danger, her loved ones did not stand aside. Nick Newman, the man who loved Sharon, sensed that she was in danger. Together with Chance Chancellor, an experienced investigator, they began the search with a faint hope. However, Jordan and Ian left no trace. All clues were erased, leaving Nick and Chance in a deadlock. Every minute that passed was a minute Sharon was closer to death, and despair began to spread in their hearts. Chance and Nick did not give up. They followed every witness's story, every small security camera, and finally found a clue. A passerby saw Jordan and Ian in the sewer area a few days ago. Realizing that this might be where Sharon was being held, they immediately set up a rescue plan. When the rescue team arrived at the sewer area, time seemed to stop. They quickly broke down the sewer door and rushed into the darkness inside, but the journey was not easy. Jordan and Ian had set up a series of traps to prevent anyone from entering. However, Nick and Chance's determination did not allow them to stop. In a moment of extreme tension, Nick found Sharon. She was lying motionless, her body cold and her face pale. Nick rushed to hug Sharon, tears streaming down his cheeks at the sight of the woman he loved in such a miserable state. She was quickly taken out and rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Once again, the series is plunged into turmoil as dark conspiracies and deadly dangers surround the main characters. Sharon Newman, a resilient woman, is pushed into the most dangerous situation of her life when she is captured by Jordan and Ian Ward. Meanwhile, her loved ones, including Nick Newman and Chance Chancellor, are racing against time to rescue her before it is too late. But will all these efforts be enough to prevent the looming tragedy? A clue to Hope, Indiana. Their search for Sharon, Chance, and Nick finally find an important clue. A witness saw Jordan and Ian appear near an abandoned sewer area outside Genoa City. Although the information is vague, it is the only ray of light in the thick darkness. Nick, with his heart pounding with worry for Sharon, is determined not to miss any opportunity. He and Chance immediately deploy an investigation plan, focusing all resources to go to that area. But the journey is not easy. The two villains have planned everything in advance, deliberately setting up a series of obstacles to slow down anyone who tries to reach them. The dark, debris-strewn tunnels and stifling air add to the tension of the search. In Nick and Chance's hearts, only one thing is clear: they must find Sharon before it's too late. Inside the cold and damp sewer system, Sharon struggles to survive. Despite her physical and mental exhaustion, her strong will keeps her from succumbing to despair. Sharon quickly realizes that she can rely on no one but herself to find a way out of her captivity. She begins to look around, looking for anything that might help her escape. Scraps of metal, old wires, and even parts of her own clothes become tools in her escape plan. Sharon concentrated all her strength to pry open the manhole, hoping that the other side would be free. However, she did not expect that Jordan and Ian had anticipated her intentions. The manhole had been reinforced, and each time she tried, they seemed to get tighter. Meanwhile, the poison from the PCP-laced water she had accidentally ingested earlier continued to weaken her body, making every move that much more difficult. Mariah became the next victim. Sharon was not the only one who suffered from Ian's cruelty. In a surprising turn of events, Ian kidnapped Mariah, who had always had a special relationship with Sharon. Ian somehow used Mariah as a pawn in his sick game. The details of Mariah's torture remained vague, but it was clear that she had been damaged both physically and mentally. Mariah, despite being a strong woman, could not hide her fear of Ian. His actions are not only meant to torture her, but also to force her to reveal information that could hurt Sharon. She is put in an impossible position: betray her spiritual mother, or continue to endure Ian's torment. All the dangerous actions are escalating, plunging Genoa City into an unprecedented state of chaos. As the search for Sharon reaches its climax, dark secrets, conflicts, and tensions between the characters begin to surface. Jordan and Ian's presence is not only a threat to Sharon, but to everyone involved with her. Nick and Chance, despite their best efforts, feel that they are racing against an invisible enemy. Their decisions become increasingly difficult as time passes, and a harsh question looms in their minds: can they save Sharon in time, or will everyone witness a heartbreaking tragedy? The tension is building to an unbearable level. Jordan and Ian, with their twisted minds and obsession for revenge, do not hesitate to act ruthlessly to achieve their goals. The risk of Sharon's death increases as her body weakens, destroyed by poison and psychological torture. No one can predict whether she can survive this nightmare. Furthermore, Mariah, with her severe injuries, is also at risk of being beyond help. Ian's cruel actions have pushed everyone to a dead end, and no one can be sure that all the characters will survive this storm. In the thick darkness, the last ray of hope still shines as Nick and Chance get closer to Sharon. Despite facing unpredictable dangers and challenges beyond endurance, they continue to move forward. The final confrontation with Jordan and Ian is not only a physical battle, but also a fight for justice and love. While Sharon was being treated, Chance continued to hunt down Jordan and Ian. After a tense chase, the two were arrested and brought before the law. Their crimes were not only murder but also a series of other illegal acts, making it impossible for them to escape a severe sentence. Sharon, despite suffering both physical and mental injuries, finally woke up in Nick's arms. This event not only left a great lesson in courage and the will to survive, but also reminded Sharon that she was never alone. Her loved ones were always by her side, ready to fight for her to the end. The tension was rising to an unbearable level. Jordan and Ian, with their twisted minds and obsession with revenge, did not hesitate to act ruthlessly to achieve their goals. The risk of Sharon's death increased as her body gradually weakened, destroyed by poison and psychological torture. No one could guess whether she could survive this nightmare. Furthermore, Mariah, who is severely injured, is also at risk of being beyond help. Ian's cruel actions have pushed everyone to a dead end, and no one is sure that all the characters will survive this storm. In the thick darkness, the last ray of hope still shines as Nick and Chance get closer to Sharon. Despite facing unpredictable dangers and challenges beyond their endurance, they keep moving forward. The final confrontation with Jordan and Ian is not only a physical battle, but also a fight for justice and love. The price to pay for this rescue may not be small. Will Nick and Chance be able to save Sharon in time? Who will be the one to sacrifice in this brutal war? And can Genoa City return to peace after all the chaos? Subscribe to the channel to update the latest news.